Right now, in your kitchen cabinet, there's probably a bottle of multivitamins. 1 in 3 American adults takes them. The promise is simple: cover your bases, fill the gaps, protect your health. It's the most popular supplement on Earth. Here's the problem. The largest, longest study ever done on multivitamins followed nearly 400,000 healthy adults for up to 27 years. And it found something the multi-billion-dollar supplement industry doesn't put on the label. For most healthy people, that daily pill isn't doing what you think it's doing. The science is clearer than you'd expect, and it's not what the marketing sells you.
To understand why this matters, look at what a multivitamin actually promises. More energy, a stronger immune system, protection from cancer and heart disease, a longer life. It's sold as cheap insurance, a few cents a day to guard against everything you might be missing. And the logic feels right. Vitamins are essential. A deficiency can hurt you, so more must be better, right? That single assumption, that topping up is always good, is what built an entire industry. Billions of dollars rest on it. But assumptions aren't evidence, so scientists ran the actual experiments. What they found doesn't just question the pill, it questions the whole idea behind it.
Start with the biggest piece of evidence we have. In 2024, researchers at the U.S. National Cancer Institute published the largest analysis of multivitamins and death ever conducted. 3 major studies, 390,000 healthy adults, followed for up to 27 years. To put that in perspective, this wasn't one study. It was 3 separate groups tracked across different parts of the country, pooled together. More than 160,000 of them died during the follow-up. With numbers that large, even a small real benefit would have shown up. They compared people who took a multivitamin every single day to people who took none. Then they tracked who lived and who died. The result? No difference. Daily multivitamin users were not less likely to die. Not from cancer, not from heart disease, not from stroke, nothing. And here's the uncomfortable detail. In the first years, daily users had a slightly higher risk of death. Not because the pill harmed them, but likely because sicker people start taking vitamins, hoping to get better. The researchers' conclusion was blunt. Taking a multivitamin to live longer is not supported by the evidence.
One study isn't enough, so look at who reviews all of them. The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force is the independent panel that decides what actually prevents disease. They reviewed the multivitamin evidence twice, in 2014 and again in 2022. Both times, the same conclusion. There is not enough evidence that multivitamins prevent heart disease or cancer in healthy adults. They could not recommend them. But they went further. For 2 specific ingredients, they recommended against supplementing. Beta-carotene, a common antioxidant, was linked to a higher risk of lung cancer in smokers, and high-dose vitamin E showed no benefit, with a possible increase in a type of stroke. Read that again. We're not just talking about a pill that does nothing. For some people, specific ingredients can do harm.
So if the evidence is this clear, here's the real question. Why do so many people swear their multivitamin works? 3 reasons. First, the placebo effect is powerful. When you take a pill you believe is protecting you, you genuinely feel more in control. And that feeling is real, even when the pill is not. Second, the people who take vitamins every day also tend to exercise more, eat better, and see their doctors. They're healthier, but it's the lifestyle doing the work, not the pill. Scientists call it the healthy user effect, and it fools casual studies constantly. And third, a vitamin feels like doing something, a small daily act of taking care of yourself. That's emotionally satisfying, which is exactly why it's so easy to sell.
Now, if I stopped here, I'd be doing exactly what bad health channels do. Show you one side and call it the truth. So let's be honest about the other side, because it exists. 2 findings complicate the story. First, cancer. A rigorous trial of nearly 15,000 male doctors found that a daily multivitamin led to a small but real drop in total cancer, about 8%, over more than a decade. Real, measurable, in a gold standard study. Second, the brain. A series of trials called Cosmos found that a daily multivitamin modestly improved memory in adults over 60, roughly the equivalent of slowing a few years of age-related decline. So the picture isn't multivitamins do nothing. It's more interesting than that. Take the memory findings seriously for a second. Cosmos followed more than 21,000 older adults, a large, careful, randomized design. That's not nothing. But two things keep it from being the final word. The benefit was modest, and it may simply reflect older people topping up nutrients they'd started to run low on, which loops right back to the deficiency rule. And the trial was funded by the NIH, but the multivitamin itself was supplied by the company that sells it. That doesn't make it wrong. It's just a detail worth keeping in mind. The cancer result has its own asterisks. The benefit was small, clearest in older men, and it didn't significantly cut cancer deaths. Promising, but not proof. Not yet.
So why does the big picture keep landing on no real benefit for most people? The answer is mechanism, and it's the part that finally makes sense of everything. A vitamin only helps when you're missing it. That's the whole point of a vitamin. Fix a deficiency, and the effect can be dramatic. But if you're not deficient, adding more does almost nothing, because your body already has what it needs. And here's the reality for most people in a developed country eating a normal diet. You're already getting enough. Modern food is fortified. Bread, cereal, milk, salt, topped up with vitamins, often by law. So the daily pill lands on a tank that's already full. The excess of the water-soluble vitamins, your kidneys filter it straight out. You quite literally pay for expensive urine. There's a deeper reason isolated vitamins keep failing in trials. When you eat an orange, you don't just get vitamin C. You get fiber, water, dozens of plant compounds, all working together. When researchers pull a single nutrient out, put it in a pill, and crank up the dose, they're betting the magic was in that one molecule. Over and over, that bet loses. The health was in the whole food, not in the piece they could bottle. A pill can copy the label on the fruit. It can't copy the fruit. You can't supplement your way out of a problem you don't have. That's the sentence the marketing never says.
But most people is not everyone. And this is where multivitamins stop being marketing and start being medicine. There are real groups who genuinely benefit. Picture them. The pregnant woman, whose folic acid is quietly building a healthy spinal cord in the first weeks, often before she even knows she's pregnant. This isn't optional. It's one of the best proven uses of a supplement in all of medicine. The lifelong vegan, whose vitamin B12 has no animal source to come from, where a deficiency is serious and often silent. Many older adults face the same problem because the stomach simply absorbs less than it did at 30. So do people on certain diabetes medications. The office worker in a northern winter who hasn't seen direct sun in months and whose vitamin D quietly drops. And people with diagnosed iron deficiency anemia, but only them, because too much iron is its own danger. Or one specific eye disease where a particular formula, not a generic multivitamin, can slow age-related vision loss. Notice the pattern. Every real case is a specific person with a specific need, ideally confirmed by a test. The supplement isn't filling an imaginary gap, it's filling a real one. Same pill, completely different story, because the need is real.
Which brings us to the risks, because natural does not mean harmless. The water-soluble vitamins, like C and the B group, mostly leave your body when you overdo it. But the fat-soluble ones, A, D, E, and K, build up. Too much over time can become toxic. Iron is a real hazard in excess, especially for men and anyone who isn't actually deficient. And high-dose folic acid can hide a vitamin B12 deficiency, letting nerve damage progress unseen. Then there's the bottle itself.
In most countries, a supplement doesn't have to prove it's safe or effective before it reaches the shelf. That scrutiny only comes later, if at all. Independent labs that test products straight off the shelf regularly find pills with more, less, or even something other than what the label promises. Dose, purity, and contamination are real concerns. None of this means vitamins are dangerous for most people. It means the casual idea that more can't hurt is simply false.
And think about the scale of it. Tens of millions of people, every single day, spending money on a habit built on an assumption no one checked. Not a scam. Most makers believe in it too. Just a very expensive case of treating a problem most of us don't have. So, do multivitamins actually do anything? Here's the honest verdict. If you're a generally healthy adult eating a normal, varied diet, the evidence says a daily multivitamin will not make you live longer, will not protect your heart, and the benefits for cancer and memory are small and still debated. For you, it's closer to an insurance policy on a risk you don't have. But if you're in one of the specific groups, pregnant, deficient, vegan, an older adult, or managing a real medical condition, the right supplement isn't hype. It's a tool that works. The multivitamin was never magic, and it was never useless. It's just been sold to the wrong person. The question isn't, are vitamins good? It's, do I actually need this one? And that question has an answer: a blood test and a conversation with your doctor.